Hey everyone, welcome to the ranking. Here's my ranking of Kathryn Bigelow's movies. Yes, just a few days ago, the movie Detroit just came out, and I just did a review of it. And to celebrate that movie and the greatness of that film, I thought I'd do a ranking of all of Kathryn Bigelow's movies. She is a fantastic filmmaker. She's been making movies for quite some time. She's recently, since like Hurt Locker and stuff, that's when she's like really made a name for herself and won her Academy Award. Proved that she's almost just as good as a filmmaker as her ex-hubby, James Cameron. Well, kind of close. James Cameron's still amazing, but still, Kathryn Bigelow's an amazing filmmaker, and I thought I'd rank all of her movies from my least favorite to my favorite. Yeah, she's in total of 10 films, so technically it's kind of like a top 10 list, but a top 10 list requires either a top 10 best and a top 10 worst. The reason it's a ranking is because not all of her movies are good. Unfortunately, again, I love her work. She's very talented, but not all of her movies are good. And yeah, I'm going to talk about them. So let's get to it. Here's my ranking of Kathryn Bigelow's movies from my least favorite to my favorite. Alright, coming at number 10 is The Weight of Water. Yes, The Weight of Water stars Sean Penn, Elizabeth Hurley, and what's her name? Sarah Polley, and yeah. This is not a good movie. This is a very pretentious film. It's a very dull film. It's a very lifeless film. I did not care at all about what was happening with these characters or story. It tries to be a very sexy movie, and it's not sexy at all, in my opinion. I just wanted this movie to end. It was overly drawn out, and I just did not give a shit about this movie. This is probably like this is hands down my least favorite Kathryn Bigelow movie. It is the most uninteresting film, the most dullest film, and just a film I just didn't give a shit about. I love Sean Penn. I think he's a great actor. He does try for what he has. The writing for this movie is probably the worst part, because it's not a well-told story. It doesn't have interesting characters. It doesn't have good dialogue. Nothing about this movie is particularly interesting. It's just kind of a dull, lifeless film that I never want to watch again, and I won't watch it again because it's the worst Kathryn Bigelow movie, in my opinion. Coming number 9 is K-19, The Widowmaker. Yes, K-19, Harrison Ford and Liam Neeson. What could go wrong? It's Harrison Ford and Liam Neeson. What could possibly go wrong? These are great actors, and it's a great filmmaker, and they're in a submarine. It's like Dust Boot. Actually, it's not at all like Dust Boot. Dust Boot's a great, compelling, dramatic war film. This, again, is a very dull, very lifeless, and very uninteresting submarine dramatic war film. And yeah, I just didn't like this movie. I didn't like the characters. Most of the movie's about like them getting radiation poisoning and people dying from it. And yeah, it's not interesting. Like, at least if the characters were likable or enjoyable or funny or compelling or riveting or said something or did something, add intrigue. Like, there's a lot of great submarine movies out there. Like, The Hunt for October is a great film. Das Boot is a great film. What's that movie? Crimson Tide with Denzel Washington, Gene Hackman. Great submarine movies. This one is just a very dull and very lifeless film, and Harrison Ford isn't even could give a good performance. His accent is laughably, like, hilarious. It is just so bad. Liam Neeson is not very good in this movie. The whole supporting cast is very generic. And just, yeah, it's a dumb movie. It's not a very good movie, and it's not a very interesting movie, and one of my least favorites. Coming number 8 is Strange Days. Strange Days actually had the help of her ex-hubby. Yes, James Cameron wrote this film and she directed it. I don't know if she wrote it as well. Who cares? This movie, again, I'm not a fan of this movie. This movie is so long and just, again, it's not interesting. A lot of people find Kathryn Bigelow's movies very boring. I always like to defend Kathryn Bigelow. I like to defend her films because I don't think her movies are boring. I think her bad ones are, but I think the ones that people call boring, like Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30, people are, oh, those are such boring films. Like, no. Her early work, like Strange Days, and K-19, and The Weight of Water, those were boring movies. Her good ones were good. Her new ones are very good. Strange Days has some good stuff, has some good visuals, some decent shots. There is some intrigue at times, but again, it's so long, so drawn out, and the characters are so one-dimensional, I just could care less about it. Coming number 7 is Blue Steel. Okay, Blue Steel is a great film. This is actually when we get into the good stuff. We get into the good Kathryn Bigelow movies. Blue Steel is a very good movie. It's a very good police officer film about a girl. It's also about sort of like a woman's right kind of thing. Like, she's a female police officer. No one believes that she's a cop because she's a woman. No one thinks that she can do her job properly, again, because she's a woman cop. And she proves them all wrong in this film. This movie is about her basically doing a shooting at a grocery store, stopping a robber. And basically a guy witnesses that and becomes like creepily obsessed with her and basically wants to be her and he starts like killing people. It's very weird and creepy, but it's interesting. Jamie Lee Curtis is great. Tom Clancy's in this film. He's really good. It's actually very entertaining and stuff. It's nothing amazing or original, but I still think it's a really good, very edgy thriller. And yeah, it's a good movie. Coming number 6 is Near Dark. Near Dark is a very early Kathryn Bigelow film, and again, I really like this film. I love Bill Paxton in this movie. Anytime you have Bill Paxton in your film, you're gonna get some entertaining stuff. And I like this movie. I like a Western vampire film, but this guy gets turned to his vampire, and he joins like this gang of vampires, but really he wants to go home, but the woman he loves is there. Basically has to abandon her so he can go back home with his family, and he tries to find a cure for being a vampire. But then he has to defeat his old gang of vampires who want to kill them and stuff, and it's just a great movie. If you love vampire movies, I think you're going to really enjoy this film. There's some good character interactions, there is some silly and hokey acting in the film, but there's good practical effects, some good action scenes, some good characters. There's even a decent romance in the film, and I love how gothic it is, and it feels like a true blue vampire film, and yeah, I really like it. Coming number 5 is Point Break. Yes, the remake of Point Break. Now, please, fuck that movie. Point Break, 1991, the year I was born. Yes, Point Break, Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze. I am an FBI agent. This movie is just so great. It is cheesy 90s film, and it's so good. It's so enjoyable. It is a bank robbing movie. It's about bank robbing and surfing. Awesome, right? It's so good. It even has the Red Hot Chili Peppers in a cameo. Hilarious. Yeah, I really enjoy this film. It's very corny, it's very cheesy. It has Gary Busey. And yeah, it's about this FBI agent who goes undercover as a surfer because they know the bank robbers, the ex-presidents. Yes, he knows the group of bank robbers are surfers, so he tries to go undercover as a surfer, try to find out who these bank robbers are, and he finds Bodie, played by Patrick Swayze. He befriends him and stuff, but then he finds out him and his crew are bank robbers, and basically shit gets real, and yeah, it gets interesting. No spoilers, but yeah, it's a great film. It's a great action movie, it's got good characters, it's delightfully cheesy in the most entertaining way ever. Keanu Reeves is great, Patrick Swayze steals the film, and yeah, it's a Point Break. It's awesome. Coming number 4 is The Loveless. The Loveless, yes, this again, we're going to really early Kathryn Bigelow. She co-directed this movie, and yeah, I love it. I love this movie. This is a great, twisted, dark comedy thriller starring Willem Dafoe, who's great in this film, and yeah, I love how edgy this movie is. I love how atmospheric this movie is. Again, I don't want to spoil this movie because this is an indie film that barely anyone has seen, but I'm saying right now, if you love good dark comedies, and you love good crime movies, crime thrillers with a lot of dark comedy, check this one out. It is a damn good movie with a great performance by Willem Dafoe, great direction by Kathryn Bigelow, some really solid writing, and yeah, it's a great one. Number 3 is The Hurt Locker. Yes, The Hurt Locker is what won the Academy Award for Kathryn Bigelow. She beat James Cameron for Avatar. Very good. Round of applause, because Avatar, hands down, one of the most overrated movies ever made. And yeah, Hurt Locker is a great, gritty, realistic war film, basically about people who defuse bombs in Iraq. Yeah, it's Iraq. And it's basically about this team that consists of Jeremy Renner, Anthony Mackie, and this other guy, I forget the actor's name. And yeah, it's basically about them defusing bombs, and it's about these characters, but it's also about the environment they're in, and of course the realism of war. Even how this movie ends with Jeremy Renner, it's a very realistic war film, and these characters feel like real American soldiers, and yeah, that's why I really love this film. It does draw out at times, but I still think this is a very realistic and very good and very enjoyably gritty film. The war sequences are really enjoyable. The bomb sequences are very realistic and very brutal to watch. The performances are all great. You got Ralph Fiennes in a very small role. He's really enjoyable. Jeremy Renner steals this film. He's amazing in this movie. Same with Anthony Mackie. And yeah, I absolutely adore this film. Some people find it boring and overrated. I don't. I enjoy it. Coming number 2 is Detroit. Yes, the movie that just came out. I just did a review of this movie literally just now, so I'll leave a link down below to the movie, to my movie review. I went into more depths about it. It's a great film. Again, it's in theaters right now. Please go and pay money to see this movie. It's a bit hard to watch at times, but it tells a very realistic story of what happened at the Algiers Motel in 1967 Detroit. It's about the Detroit riot, and it's mostly about the characters of the Algiers Motel, about these people that were brutalized by the police officers. It's about the police officers themselves, and of course these characters that were abused and tortured by these people. It's a very tragic story, but it's also a very realistic and true story. It's an amazing film with great writing and great direction, and it just has realism in it, and it's so brutal and so emotional, and yeah, check it out, it's fantastic. And my number 1 favorite Kathryn Bigelow movie is Zero Dark 30. Zero Dark 30 is hands down my favorite film by Kathryn Bigelow. I absolutely adore this film. I still think Jessica Chastain should have won for Best Actress, and yeah, even though I love Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence is so good in Silver Linings Playbook. Great performance, great movie. I just think Jessica Chastain's performance had more range, and I thought she was a more compelling character. I still think she gave a better performance as Codename Maya. She's amazing. She steals this film. She gives a phenomenal performance. James Gandolfini is also great. Jason Clarke is really great. Even the soldiers like Joel Edgerton, Chris Pratt, they're all very good. The raid scene, the war raid scene in the third act is a great scene when they hunt down Osama bin Laden. This entire movie is about them trying to catch bin Laden after 9/11. All the tragedies bin Laden and his team did. They want to catch them. And Codename Maya was just so desperate to catch him. She's so desperate that it's almost insane how desperate she is. There's a lot of torture scenes with them and torturing all these people and stuff, and it's, again, disturbing. She makes a lot of very disturbing, but also gritty and realistic films. That's the way she rolls, Kathryn Bigelow, and again, I love it. Mark Bull's screenplay is amazing, her direction's fantastic, the performances are really great. Something about this movie just it intrigues me. I love everything about this movie. I have zero issues and zero flaws with it, and just for some reason, it's my favorite Kathryn Bigelow movie. I love it. So yeah, that was my ranking of all of Kathryn Bigelow's movies, from my least favorite to my favorite. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this ranking? If not, give me your ranking of all of Kathryn Bigelow's movies, from your least favorite to your favorite. Comment below, let me know. And as always, for this video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and join the dark side.